I'm willing to bet that even though I just flashed 3 black images at you, you instantly knew who those characters were. Pikachu, Mario, and Mickey Mouse. But why did you know who they were, without even seeing the details like their colors or their expressions? It could be because they're immensely popular, and you've seen these characters for a majority of your life. But even more than that, I'm willing to bet you recognize them because of their strong silhouettes. All of them have easily recognizable shapes, no matter how small, that even in pitch black they seem familiar to you before you even consciously register them. Character design is powerful. You see it almost everywhere: movies, TV shows, games, even in celebrities. A good design can tell you so much about something without ever needing words. But where do people get their inspiration from? How can they keep reiterating, evolving, and creating new designs throughout generations? Animals. Every design steals from nature itself, the biggest culprit being Pokemon. Rattata? That's just a rat. Ekans? That's just a snake. Pidgeotto? Brother, that's in my backyard. And that's specifically what I want to talk about today. I want to present to you what I think are the greatest animal designs to ever exist. Animals that God and evolution created and iterated on for millions of years to create visual perfection. So let's begin. Honestly, I could have put the entire cat family here, but I didn't want to repeat myself too much, so I chose what I believe to be the best cat design there is. And right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice is the rich orange fur, coupled with black stripes that serve as a way to guide your eyes around the tiger, but also as a pleasing repeating motif that makes them unique among big cats. And it might look simple, but there's actually something very intricate about it. It's in how they make the repeating stripes feel so natural. And it's because there's different spacing and density between the stripes. If you look from afar, it's dense near the face, then gets loose around the middle, and then gets tighter near the tail and back legs. A bunch of asymmetrical stripes that don't feel messy or overdone, and a touch of white patches on the highlights like the eyes and mouth that adds a nice color harmony to the face. But I think what really ties this whole design together and adds a cherry on top is the fur sticking out on either side of their head. That element adds this fiery aura to them, which is only bolstered by their orange coat, and by how the stripes form a circular shape that frames the face like a flower. It's perfectly placed so your eyes never want to leave. No wonder they were in Kung Fu Panda, Winnie the Pooh, and Pokemon. Mwah. 10 out of 10. Now imagine if you made a horse that didn't want to be ridden. He didn't want to be told where to go. He was free. That's what the zebra is. A punk rock, cooler version of the horse. And that's why Marty ran away from the zoo in Madagascar. And it's because of their spiked up mane that gives them their rebellious nature. Again, the contrast is what makes them pop. Their deep matte black against the creamy white makes it look sharp and graphic. Up close and personal, the stripes feel almost hand painted, with each line following the muscle and wrapping around their shoulders and legs. Somewhat similar to the tiger, who also has individually unique patterns. And when you see a whole herd together, the stripes blend into each other until you can't tell where one zebra ends and the next begins. It's like watching a living, moving optical illusion out in the sun. Goodness gracious, how long is this guy gonna talk about strictly black and white animals? I swear this is the last one. But honestly, I like the orca design better than the zebra, and I contemplated on whether or not if I should just get rid of it, because I didn't want to talk about 2 black and white animals back to back, but as you can tell, it didn't feel right to me to leave out either of them, so I'm talking about both. This is a relatively minimalist design, but it's still so effective. The orcas, I'd say, have the harshest contrast of black and white, false white eye patches that give it a unique expression, and a clear separation between the black and white underneath. It's perfect color blocking that highlights its strong, graceful anatomy. And because of their glossy skin, its effect isn't softened like with a panda, for example. And it has the best elements of all the big fish. Strong horizontal fluke like a whale, sharp dorsal and pectoral fins like a shark, and the graceful, playful form of the dolphin. It's perfect. If you've been keeping your eyes peeled, you'll notice that I've been showing the ratio of the main colors that each animal sports at the top. And the reason why I'm mentioning this now is because the clownfish has a ratio that is very similar to a popular rule that artists or designers use in real life to create color harmony. It's the 60-30-10 rule. 60% is the primary color, 30% being the secondary color, and then the accent color being the 10%. Overall though, they have a very delicate squishy shape, and their color scheme is very cheeky, almost like it's glowing. A contributing factor to that is the gradients in the orange, where it slowly transitions to a yellow near the mouth and on the tips of their fins, and the white ring around their head gives the impression of a collar on a suit. Then add on the expression that makes them look grumpy all the time, and you'll get an overworked salaryman. No wonder Marlin was so stressed in finding Nemo. While I was researching animals in the ocean, I stumbled upon this little fella. And oh my god. I was blown away by this design. This is geometry in motion. I'm looking at the golden ratio in a sentient being. This is incredible. I love everything about it. Their beautiful pearly coiled shell that's creamy white and mixed with expensive orange stripes. And then on top of their head? I'm not 100% sure about the anatomy of this thing, but there's a different pattern on top. A rich orange base with little creamy white spots. But what I find the most fascinating is the contrasting tone of the design. It's order in the back and chaos in the front. Mathematically placed patterns and a sturdy shell in the back, and then free-roaming tentacles at the front that give it this sort of ancient primordial god feel to it. If someone told me that a caveman had drawn this design on a wall millions of years ago, and eventually a whole religion was built around it, I'd believe you. But then I went even further down and I realized that I would hate to be a deep sea fish. Imagine this thing being your neighbor, the literal devil sharing the same space as you. Grotesque shapes, muddy colors, soulless eyes, gaping mouth, disfigured proportions and bony fins. Get me out of the ocean, bro. I don't want to be here anymore. But I think from afar it's visually beautiful. The long tendrils that seem serene and dreamlike, which leads your eyes to the main body that's pure horror. That visual contradiction is what's appealing to me. But I want you all to remember what I said at the beginning of the video, how every character, especially non-human designs, are inspired by animals, and that's especially true for monsters. So anytime you're watching a movie, show, or playing a game and you think, wow, that alien or monster is pretty scary, I'm glad it doesn't exist in real life. It does. It does, and anytime you set foot into the ocean, just know that you're stepping into their territory. But if anglerfish were the mindless flesh-eating monsters, praying mantises would be the smart, calculating aliens that come to enslave us. Thankfully though, they are barely even the size of your hand, so no need to worry about being invaded. But I love them. Their straight, stick-like proportions, triangular shaped head with large, bulging eyes that seem to hold immense wisdom, hands recoiled back, ready to strike in the blink of an eye, and they even have two antennas on top of their head like an alien. But wait. There's more. There's a whole bunch of different variations. One has a head that looks like a charred leaf, a typical design for any fire-based character. One has a posture that looks built for a Muay Thai fighter, and another one has one of the most beautiful pattern and color harmonies I've ever seen. I swear, when we eventually discover aliens, they're probably gonna look so lame compared to what we already have on Earth. I love the yoinky sploinky anatomy of frogs, but the most impressive to me is the red-eyed tree frog, specifically the color combinations. It plays with seemingly saturated colors that somehow don't overpower each other, and that's because it's a triadic color scheme. 3 colors that are an equal distance away from each other on the color wheel. And sometimes these colors mixed together can feel garish, but the red-eyed tree frog avoids that by having its primary color be the most muted out of the 3. That gives the secondary and tertiary colors a chance to pop and be the highlights. I think it's extremely impressive how they're on the border of colors clashing and color harmony at the same time. This snake has the aesthetic of dragons from How to Train Your Dragon. I don't really know what to say about this design, to be honest. The form and overall shape looks like any other snake. It doesn't have the size, power, or intimidation of an anaconda. It doesn't have the menacingly steel patterns of a python. But those scales, man, they're so cool. Spiky, textured, and layered perfectly. And they look like leaves too, hence the name. Fierce, cheeky, and kinda cute. And that cuteness comes from their oversized eyes comparative to their head size, which you see countless times in media. You know, while I've been researching animals, I realize they have so many abilities that we don't have, and it pisses me off. Flight, camouflage, poison, electricity, webs, night vision, speed, strength, tax evasion, and gliding. And almost every species has a variation that can glide. Flying fish, flying snakes, flying squirrels, and now flying geckos? Why? You have no business to be doing all that. It's not fair! Moving on though, look at her. My goth queen. She's perfect. When you look at them overall, you can tell this is a menacing bird. But when you look a little closer at their features, it's actually really soft. Their feathers are laid cleanly, the patterns on its legs are striking but subtle. Same with the colors and the horizontal patterns on the underside of their wings. But the kicker of this design is the feathers on top of their head, and the direction of the feathers all push outwards from the center of the face, which I think makes it even more captivating to look at. like a gothic sunflower. Penguins are great because they emit regal curiosity and cute all at the same time, and their upright stance gives them a human-like relatability. Usually birds want to show off with their fancy colors and patterns, but not the penguin. They are the equivalent of male celebrities that show up to the Met Gala in a tuxedo. And you think that you'd be mad that this guy got invited to the Met, a place where he's supposed to show off and have a crazy outfit, but he doesn't. And you can't even be mad because he's got that shit on. This guy smokes too tough, his swag's too different, and his bitch bad too. Also, as a side note, I rewatched Happy Feet again recently, and I noticed the way they differentiated the females to the males was by giving them tits. I couldn't believe it. Gloria has tits. They somehow found a way to add cleavage to a character that doesn't even wear clothes in the first place. But anyways, one final thing I want to mention about the Emperor Penguin is that the chicks also have a great design too, which I think is really cool, because there's a lot of baby animals who look almost exactly like their adult counterparts. But the penguin is one of those animals where they have a different design before adulthood, like they're wearing pajamas specifically made for them. And because everything about the penguin is already simplified, it lends itself well to easily make them characters or plushies that people would want. And so here we are, the final animal on my list, and I saved the best for last. This is the best bird design to ever grace this earth, and arguably the greatest design to ever grace this planet. I present to you the peacock. I don't even know where to begin with this design. How can I describe all of its elements? My words truly couldn't do this animal justice. Everyone knows, everyone sees it, and the thing is, they want you to see. They know that they're the shit. They want the attention. They crave it. And the irony is that while all of your eyes watch the magnificence of the peacock, a cascade of eyes painted in turquoise, gold, and sapphire gaze right back at you. But it begins with the head. Iridescent blues and greens of oil on silk, not one color, but 1,000 shifting hues that breathe differently with every turn of the light. They carry a delicate crown, a fan of slender threads tipped with jeweled eyes, like strokes of ink that never quite dry. Then the body descends into a tapering form, a small metallic sheen that grounds it beneath the impossible glory that blooms behind it. Each feather is its own artwork, with rings of jewel tone radiating outward like ripples, a mix of vanity and grace. The whole bird feels like an exaggeration of beauty. It walks with the confidence of a creature that knows it is art incarnate. And there's so many animals in the world that there's no way I could talk about all of the amazing designs. So I want to give you my honorable mentions to all the animals that I think are really good, but I just don't have anything of value to say about them. Or I just felt that they were not deserving to be in my top list. Pangolins, cows, elephants, polar bears, pandas, gorillas, giraffes, jaguars, leopards, cheetahs, lions, African wild dog, horses, okapis, flying squirrels, flying dragon lizard, flying fish, rabbits, red pandas, raccoons, meerkats, koalas, kangaroos, ball pythons, green anacondas, crocodiles, sea lions, ladybugs, golden orb weavers, black widows, bees, wasps, leaf insects, garden tiger moth, peacock butterfly, banded peacock butterfly, great white shark, hammerhead shark, whale shark, blue whale, blue tang, white-sided dolphin, octopus, flapjack octopus, peacock mantis shrimp, green sea turtle, Japanese spider crab, porcupine crab, ghost crab, barn owl, crested owl, quetzal, secretary bird, toucan, puffins, and rock hopper penguins. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.